Hello, welcome back to the Wrestling Newsroom. I'm your host, All Things Wrestling, and today we're going to be looking at all the wrestling news from Friday. We start with a very interesting story. Davey Richards, in a recent interview with USA Today, gave the reason why he decided to leave GFW. He said, "I've done a pretty good of trying to juggle a very high demand of wrestling in school." Yes, that's actually his wording. But it's gotten to the point where my school load would be so much I couldn't do both. The last little while, I couldn't give 100% to wrestling or to medicine because I was being pulled to both directions. I didn't think it was fair to anyone who pays to see me not to be able to give 100%. I can still wrestle a part-time schedule, but it's not really right to expect TNA to pay a salary with my hopefully being able to commit to a schedule. School needs to come first. That's the point where I'm at. And he mentioned about schedule demands leading him to make the change. I've always been the kind of wrestler that 9 times out of 10 I would take a booking no matter how much the travel is because I like to wrestle. I want to get out there and I want to stay on top of my game and compete against the best people. The more bookings I take, the more I have to travel. It's got to be too much. Would fly to Seattle and leave David with my mum. I assume that's his son. Then to fly to Florida to do tapings, and fly from Florida to set off to get David. Then fly home to St. Louis. And my school schedule, it's just become impossible. It's definitely for the best right now. Maybe when I'm done with school that will change. And about becoming an EMT. Emergency medicine has always been my main source of interest. The adrenaline rush I get from that is in some way the same as I get from walking through the curtain because you never know what's going to happen in a match. Fair enough. Well, I'm glad you're following your dreams, Davey Richards. Go for it. You could be the best EMT I know you can, mate. Best of luck. Then we go to Ric Flair announcing on social media that he's parted ways with his agent Melinda Zanoni of Legacy Talent Entertainment LLC. She had tweeted about Ric Flair's health problems in recent weeks. Here's a brief statement. As of Wednesday, September 6, 2017, I parted ways with Melinda and Legacy Talent Entertainment LLC. I will announce new representation tomorrow. I'm looking forward for a new beginning and a great opportunity that awaits me. Woo! Okay, fair enough. I don't know the exact reason why he parted ways with her, so I'll let you know if there's any more news. I haven't got the news of who's also going to be replacing her, so I'll let you know when I get that. And coming off the news of Jeff Jarrett leave of absence, so probably fired, from GFW, Jim Cornette revealed on his podcast that he's currently scheduled for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view, spoiler, but not the post-pay-per-view television tapings. He was brought back merely as a television personality and not part of the creative team. Okay, fair enough. So we don't know where that's going to lead us to now. And then WWE issued the following statement. With Hurricane Irma fast approaching and Florida State under a state of emergency, 4 upcoming NXT live events has been postponed. September 8th, September 9th, September 14th, September 15th. The September 15th live show has been rescheduled for Thursday, 5th of October. Tickets that have been previously purchased for the show will be honoured that night. Please stay tuned to NXTtickets.com, and any additional questions can be answered at NXTtickets@WWEcorp.com. So it's very, very good to see that because of the whole hurricane that WWE is taking absolutely no chances and they've just decided, screw it, we'll move the shows. I'm glad that they're thinking about people's safety first and not the money. So give you good credit there, WWE. You actually got the right head in this situation. Best of luck to everybody in the devastated countries as well as the US to deal with this absolutely horrific natural tragedy. Moving on, Rebby Hardy commented on GFW's Global Wrestling Network with a press release with the following tweet. Press release trying to pass initiatives off as being a thing that are actually happening is pretty smart. Bet they have a few morons fooled. I love Rebby. I just had to mention that because it's so funny. And in a now deleted Facebook page message, James Ellsworth wrote about his career. He said, less than a year's time, I pinned AJ Styles, who was a WWE champ at the time, won a match at Madison Square Garden, entered the Royal Rumble, had a WrestleMania moment, grabbing the Money in the Bank briefcase, and kissed Carmella. Follow your dreams, people. Seriously, props to you, man. I'm glad you're living out your dream. And Samoa Joe gave his thoughts on social media with the following message. Social media is a lot like a superpower. You can use it for good or you can use it to potentially jeopardise your future employment options. Completely true. Which is why I do not mention work on anything, because I do not want to get into that. And Albatron mentioned that he's been in touch with GFW and they're working to bring him back into the company. They're working to find something that would please the fans. At the end of the day, he works for the fans. They're the ones I work to please. I'm going to put all my heart and all my passion into making this work. I'm completely focused on where I want to take the company in November. And the promise to make the company great again. Alberto is going to be on top again. Oh, piss off. You're an absolute waste of space. You're a whole human being and we don't want you back. Go away. And Samoa Joe's injury update. His return to action has been pushed back. He was originally expected to be back in early October. Now his return is appearing to be in the end of October. It's up in the air if he'll make it back in time for the October 22nd Raw branded TLC pay-per-view. Best of luck in your recovery, Joe. And Dave Meltzer has noted the Mae Young Classic has a huge hit on the WWE Network with the top 8 most watched shows on the network this week. All 8 Mae Young Classic episodes were there. The first 4 Mae Young episodes from last week remained ahead of this week's NXT and 205 Live. Damn! I should really watch that. We should do live reactions to that. Okay, yeah, let's move straight on. Then we go to Bobby Roode talking about what made him passionate about the wrestling business again. NXT brought my passion back. I got a chance to work with all the coaches down in the Performance Centre and I was able to pick Triple H's brain too. Also working with Shawn Michaels was amazing. He has been very supportive of me and extremely helpful. This past year was really gratifying on many different levels. To come here with the experience that I've had and to have the year that I've had and be looked up to in the locker room as a leader with people coming for me for advice, it's still surreal to me. There are so many great minds in the company and I'm learning every day. I truly believe that this is the business you can never learn enough. I've been in this business 2 decades, but the fun is just about to begin. I like it. Congratulations, Bobby. It proves it. No matter how far you get in the business, you still can learn stuff. So that's great. I'm glad that he's having a nice time and NXT has rejuvenated his passion. Then we go to Maranello's situation update, really. Maranello's issue that caused him to leave WWE earlier this year was not so much John Layfield, but rather the culture that has been headed by Vince McMahon and has been part of the place for many years. The belief that JBL had a part in it, but his comment on television were coming from someone else. Meltzer noted that part of the terms of Maranello returning were that he works with and reports to Michael Cole and Triple H instead of Vince McMahon. Because of the Maranello situation, was resolved, the feeling from people close to the situation was that JBL made his own decision to leave and it wasn't related to what happened with Ranallo. Bullshit! Sorry. Should be professional, but yeah, you know that's a load of bullshit. He's left because of that. But yeah, I'm glad that he's now got a new boss because Vince McMahon was actually a dick in this situation. So, yeah. And now, this is not something I expected to hear. There's controversy regarding Paul Heyman, of all people. Apparently, Paul Heyman involved with Brock Lesnar's storylines. Apparently, he's able to have Lesnar's segment changed to his liking, which doesn't go over well with some of the management and creative. While Heyman is said to have a lot of pull with Vince McMahon, the belief is that Lesnar would be more open to going with the original plans if Heyman wasn't around. Oh, I think it's time for them to part ways. Let Lesnar do it on his own. Let me know what you think in the comments below, please. And now there's a whole controversy regarding Scott Hall's son, Cody Hall. He's been accused on Twitter by wrestler Vinny Marisol of pulling a sexy star on him. Vinny said the point is the Ravens played them, but they passed a cap because of a tweet from his girlfriend. He said, and you passed on our match because you're a pussy. Vinny then responded, I walked out because you started shooting and broke my hand. You know, like what Sexy Star did? You should be blackballed too, but... He later added, I think I explained it. We wrestled, he shot on me and broke my hand. I walked to the back, he never apologised for it, but now I get mentions. But if I get mentions, he calls me a pussy. He should have been blackballed, but his dad is Scott Hall, so he gets a pass. If it was anybody else, he would. I can agree, there's a lot of protection there if that happened. So, sorry to hear about that, Vinny. I'll give you an update to the story if we do get one. I haven't seen the video of what happened, so I can't verify whether it was a shoot or not. But best of luck to your recovery, Vinny, anyway. Then we go to Finn Balor. In our last story, talked about Cole Anderson was initially against the idea of the demon Finn Balor. Honestly, the first time the demon came, it wasn't really referred to as the demon at this point. I just wanted to use body paint. The first time I did it, I said to my best friend, WWE Superstar, fellow New Japan alum, Cole Anderson, that I'm going to do this thing. I explained to him what I was doing, and he said, do not do that. You're going to be laughed out of the building. I love that. Do not do that. You will be laughed out of the building. He explained more about the gimmick. What happened is, on the morning, it's like, you can't predict how you're going to paint the painting in advance. If I'm going to draw something, I don't know the day before what I'm going to draw. It's just very much an interpretation of how I'm feeling that day. So what I think is the coolest thing in my brain at the very moment, I had a couple of concepts here and there. Maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, but actually a decision wouldn't come down until about 6 o'clock when I sit down and started getting painted. Fair enough. Fair enough, but we all know how well the demon Finn Balor turned out, so... You're wrong, Carl! Get out of here! But no, serious, to be fair, I'm glad he went through with it, because the demon Finn Balor is amazing. I love his art, it's so good. That's why I have a WWE 2K17 statue. But that was the news. It's been fun today. No one died, so all good when no one dies. Apart from someone getting their hand broken by Cody Scott Olson, but who cares? Well, probably a lot of people, but they're not here, so we don't talk about them. But anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please give this video a like. Please support me on Patreon, link in the description below. Subscribe to see more content, and I'll catch you later.